Let us bruise the brother, blue green Maharlika, fight, and I will give victory.
Seven Morning Star Formation Incorporated Kingdom of Maharlika presents
To my beloved countrymen, Prince and Princess, distinguished guests, my good morning to each and everyone. The generosity of your sovereign mandate, I, Rodolfo Montenegro Palpalato, have been sworn again today before you and in the sight of the world to defend, preserve, and promote all we hold dear and cherish as a nation of the Kingdom of Maharlika. The greatness of this occasion dwarfs all personal feeling of joy, gratitude, and pride which one feels at this moment, as it has ever been the entire nation. Not one man alone is summoned by this historic ceremony to pledge faith in ourselves and in the future. In the history of our nation, there are certain moments that fix for us a tide of turning and redirection when the nation irrevocably moved into a new course and bravely ventured into that future. This is such a turning point. In the very December dawn, many years ago, a young patriot and prophet of the race, on this very soil, a martyr to his illusion of the new Philippines, many years we stood this same hallowed ground, sharing a vision of Filipinos' greatness. 70 years separated the martyrdom and the mandate of greatness. More than 2 generations of thwarted hope and disappointed dreams. The blood of the martyr inspired the Philippine Revolution, from which sprang the first Asian Republic, proclaimed in Kawit, Cavite. On the 12th of June, 1898, it was a short-lived republic, for soon after recalling 3.5 centuries of foreign domination, we were colonized once again. 2 other republics followed, under which the Philippines was independent, but not truly sovereign, for the history declares authentic freedom is self-proclaimed, and it is not a gift from alien land. It must be the Philippines is for the Filipinos, not for any foreign. The Filipino had lost his dignity, his courage, and even his soul. For we existed at a time of precarious democracy, which advanced the few who were rich and powerful, debates the meaning who were who. Government was the acolyte of oligarchy, whose preeminence reached back to the colonial era. This arrangement resulted in a society that could no longer endure. As social scientists said, we, the Filipinos, were sitting in the top of social volcano. But our young martyrs and hero had more arresting metaphor. A social cancer was all over the land. Major surgery was inevitable of this corrupted mind of the Filipino people. We were caught, according to popular image, between a word that is dead and the word that was too feeble to be born. We had to accelerate the birth of this new world. A cesarean operation was required. Either that is a Paris beneath the weight of our own failures, out of despair, from the use of this imperfect, an extension, and from the heart of the rebellion of the poor, was our kingdom of Maharlika. The first kingdom was still born. It had to be born again, not long ago, but in our own time, in our own generation. Okay. We proclaim here the birth of the new kingdom of Maharlika, new structure and character, and ordained to preside over a new time of ferment and change in our natural life. Our kingdom of Maharlika is new for its fidelity to our historical legacy, its utter repudiation of the colonial past. It is the power of our vision which sacrificed the first Filipino on the sacred ground. Time alone can tell the fate of the fortune of our kingdom of Maharlika. It must be our kingdom. Our nation will become the greatest nation in this planet Earth. Has history presented in our saga to the generation of Filipino that we must rise from the depth of ignorance and failures, and that we said that we have an appointment with destiny, that our nation, the pearl of the Orient, will become the richest nation in this planet Earth. With the past, we affirm and now the continuity and integrity of the nation, both saved to us by the sacrifice and struggle of our fathers, but we are also deeply conscious of the need to break away from the historical ties that we have faltered time and again. The pursuit of our national destiny that the Philippines will become the greatest nation in the entire planet. all too often in the long sweep of history, we have seen national longing and aspiration denied at the threshold of fulfillment. We have seen our nation aborted at birth, tossed in the sway of empires, grieved in the resolution of drift, paralyzed by the disunity and strife, and hostage to chaos and instability. Our national independence since the beginning has been partly cast in light, partly only in shadow. There are, to be sure, imperfection at this still are run by man. There are more imperfections still, but I choose to regard these as redeemable. We can still win the few, the faltering recalcitrant few, to our kingdom. Unerringly, the many crises and trials of our kingdom have repeatedly pointed to one recurring theme: the helplessness of the government to cope with problems and its inability to prosecute national purposes and goals. We have suffered less from the failures to make spiritual government work and prosper in our land, that it was we call the kingdom of Maharlika. But before, let me greet a pleasant day to my long lost friend. They are here now, complete in their family. The Dulot family, especially to Nel. Angeles, Arlina, Janice, Jonathan, Pauline, Erlinda, Edward Palma, Miguel, Gail Nabut Dulot, Liza Dulot, and repeat, Pauline Dulot. Here with us and share our joy, because today everything was being approved internationally. Thank you very much for this God-given talent to each and everyone. From such failures did we pass into the long night of crisis and instability that so lately visited our lands, especially in many years of COVID, and required the extraordinary recourse to spiritual government and the establishment of the kingdom of Maharlika. Yet, from our response to the time of challenge, during the 8.5 years period that will ever be a distinguished landmark in the history of our nation, we emerged as the kingdom strengthened and transformed, her faith renewed in the vitality of our divine government constitution. Ironic, we see now, is the fact that to arrive to this new beginning of divine government in our country, we have had to travel the route of authoritarian government, pass through the very eye of hazard and crisis, and endure the verdict of this man who displayed that divine government has been irretrievably lost in our land. The interval crisis government and the reconstruction opened to our nation a new meaning in the kingdom, ideas, and a new dynamism towards its attainment. We can never again stand in the alienation from one another, in resignation before our problems, or in the humanitarian before the world. Living through the tempest of crisis and ferment, we have known the reserve of national will we possess, and the kind of kingdom we are truly capable of establishing in our country. All the gold deposited abroad in old central bank is owned by the Filipinos. Not the poverty of principles or the decay of ideas, but the simple failures of the government has undermined our confused and tortuous root as a nation. And so it is our national rebirth must be founded first and foremost upon the rock of this kingdom, that no nation or any other nation, no men and women and child can be free if we do not learn to be as brothers and sisters. We are all Filipinos. This is the new beginning that we proclaim today. The awakening of our kingdom to the fundamental challenge of government in governing our land, in our people, of ministering to the cares of public life, and redeeming every dream and every aspiration that throughout our national history has fired the heart and minds of our people. Fundamentally, this is the beginning and a change, not in dreams and aspiration, but in the rededication and reappraisal. For so long we have been immersed in a confused debate over ideas and principles, when our real need was self-discipline. We have swayed between the ideologies of time and even entrapped in the irresolvable contention, when our intention must have been big and focused, infusing confidence in our people. We have worried of the efficacy of democratic ideals dispersed in the ever-taking roots in our country, when our task was to make these ideas find life and sustenance in our kingdom through our own self-abdication. We have been captivated by models and aims of developing in our own making without molding them to the reality of our culture and tradition. Today, we learn more, we know better. Today, we know better. This is the vision of the rebirth that we hold out in the kingdom today, of a new people and a divine government that will be stable, strong, and capable of leading that way to our national future. Our deep concern, chief concern is that to develop and perfect the means whereby the kingdom may recapture the original purpose of society and promoting the well-being of all the members of our community. This is no mere sentiment. This we recognize as a fundamental duty to be practically and resolute pursued. Its essence is less to be seen in what we say of those timeless democratic principles which were by freedom, rights, moral, service, and the like, than the manner by which we organize law and government for their realization of our society. Others may speak of their facile ideas to make change and development in our country. We shall address ourselves to the organization of the kingdom, to the re-engineering of the change of management of our affairs, for this is how fundamentally and truly the most lofty ideas begin to be realized and come to live in a society. We speak in our farming communities who have long been disenchanted by slogan promising land and progress, and who at last, under the kingdom program of the land reform, now have their own lands until, but also need the continuing assistance of their kingdom to attain both advancement in their lives and growth in their communities. We speak in our working classes who need not only a greater share in the profit of production, but upgrading of skills and talent by the energetic action of kingdom, so that they may carry out the programs designed to spur the growth of our economic and social life. We speak in our entrepreneurs throughout our lands who need, besides the maintenance of the free enterprise system, the practical assistance of the government in the identification of market, in development of sources of labor as raw materials, in their availment of credit facilities, and in the concern before effort of free and holy bounty in our resources as a nation. We speak to every family, to every man, women, and child throughout our land, whose security, well-being, and advancement must be directly affected by and be a concern of government in practical programs that will broaden opportunities in education, health, and welfare, and other human needs. We speak to the citizenry, whose sovereign will and whose right must exist not only on papers, but in effective progress, practice that magnify its participation in the kingdom, in the government of God and men, and its enjoyment of its right. We speak also to the family of nations in the council of the world, to which our national life is so intimately linked today, to which we pledge continued and abiding cooperation in effort and programs that will truly advance the peace and progress of people, especially of those with whom we share the cause of reform of the international system. We shall not merely dream, we shall achieve. Let our dreams become reality. We are done with pinning all the comfort and rewards for more advanced societies. We shall now draw up our own plans in accordance with our vision and culture to realize within our land our program of development and progress. The Philippines will become the lead country all over the world. Through liberation, as such has been a dream, is the sense of birth of our kingdom of Maharlika and has never left. The bosom of our people is not to be attained save by the enduring union of government and the people. It is unthinkable that we should approach this task as partisan to warring interest, creed, and ideologies. Our goal is to unite, not to divide. National unity is a covenant between each and every Filipino and between the leaders and his people. The rare honor that you have bestowed on me as one of the trustees, chairman and president of the Kevin 7 Morning Star and the Kingdom of Maharlika. Because they are here to celebrate with us in this June 12, our Independence Day. Thank you for those trustees who are present today. The Maharlika leaders impose on my person and those close to me a debt of obligation that I cannot shrink, and a pledge that I dare not to betray. Let history judge me harshly on this, that until every Filipino can say with conviction that he has been liberated from ignorance, poverty, and disease, until in some he call his mind, body, and spirit and soul his own, I shall have filled you. For this purpose, it shall be our task as people to break with the force of our will and our energies the tradition of discord and suspicion that characterized our effort in the past to build one mind as one nation. A duty we can no longer ignore or deny to bring the wishful strife in the Kingdom of Maharlika to an end, to settle for all time the secessionist war which has haunted this nation this past several years. Let us sweep aside the gloom of separatism and distrust. We learn to live as brothers and sisters. We must aspire to the cultivation of Maharlika national tradition of Filipino unity, in which Christian and Muslim are brothers in blood, and aspiration in which religion freedom is not only a guarantee but also a true and enduring bond to hold all men together, none of them less than the others because his religious creed or mood of worship. We ask all our countrymen, especially those members and officers of the Kingdom of Maharlika, and those people who directly listening to me via Juris TV. We ask all, every group and every sector of our kingdom to gather around this work now upholding to them, to in their counsel and their guidance and light of the earnest criticism. We have enough of bitterness and passion, colors, political colors, sectarian, sections, among us to realize now that we have spent ourselves and reduced thereby the vitality and strength of our nation, learning from one another, striving towards consensus, contending and yet aware of our common life as a kingdom. We can provide healing answer to the travail of our national life. We shall move forward, not alone. All of us. We do not need one hero. All Filipinos are all heroes in our life. All leadership, the dedication and the vision so clearly needed by this work of building the creation of our land kingdom shall be first to provide. We shall bring into the service of divine government the broadest knowledge and expertise available throughout our land. We shall set upon the task of reconstruction, a new foundation, the whole of our kingdom bureaucracy, from the lowest echelon to the highest, so that we shall have one and for all truly the kingdom of Maharlika that is servant to our hopes and our needs. Divine government can lead the way to building our kingdom, but it cannot do the task alone. It requires us also to establish a new concept of cooperation and interaction between government and the people, between communities and the leaders, between the various sectors to our kingdom. The people initiative, their caring and their imagination, as much as those of the kingdom, will determine how far and how fast we can achieve the blessing of our divine government in our land, so that our motherland, our beloved country, will become the greatest country in this planet Earth. I do believe that our people have never been more prepared for this test of their communal life and for the effort that it demands. I believe that today we all see our problems and our opportunities more clearly than we used to as the task that we are resolved, not by favor of words and hope, but by action physically applied to them. When I look upon our history as a nation, it is in this attitude of work and struggle that is truly new in our society today. It is this profession of faith above all others that shine upon our work, now beginning in our kingdom of Maharlika. Nearly a century ago, the man who was martyred in his ground Dr. Jose Rizal described in words unconscious prophecy the nation that the people raised should become a century hence heroes. The Philippines will defend when its principle valor and the liberty secured at the price of so much blood and sacrifice. With the new man that will spring from the soil, and with the recollection of their past, they will perhaps strive to enter freely upon a wide road of progress, and all will labor together to strengthen their fatherland both internally and externally with the same enthusiasm which the youth fall again, tilling the land of his ancestors so long wasted and abandoned through the neglect of those who have withheld it from him. Then the minds will made to give up their food for relieving distress, iron for weapon, copper, lead, and coal. Perhaps the country will revive the maritime and mercantile life for which the islanders. So we can say from the writings of Dr. Jose Rizal, kung mahalin lang natin ang ating tinubuong lupa, ibibigay lahat ng lupa ng kanyang kayamanan, ilalabas lahat ng dagat ng kanyang kayamanan para sa Maharlika angkat. They are filtered by their nature, ability, and instinct, and once more free, like a bird that leaves its cage, like the flower that unfolds to the air, will recover the pristine virtue that are gradually dying out and will again become addicted to peace, cheerful, happy, joyous, hospitable, and daring. So, our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, telling us that our country will become the greatest nation in this planet. Is very near. This is your home, especially Dulot family. You know, let's clap for when we are here. Today, we declare we are the kingdom with courage and vision. We shall be more. From you, therefore, members, officers, I ask utmost commitment, the unswavering allegiance to the vision which unite us. You owe this to yourself. Give all that you can to our country, and I, God willing, will leave you a kingdom that will fill all your needs for a decent and honorable life. As the call of the stringent to realize the just purpose with us, let us awaken the unconscious and enlighten the mislead. Let us listen to our detractor and honest counsel. Let us bind the wounds of the past and in one united effort realize the aspiration of our people. There are no other saviors. There is only us. the Maharlika, the Philippine is for the Filipinos. There is no injustice that we cannot eradicate. No corruption that we cannot exterminate. No hardship or crisis that we cannot overcome. As long as we keep faith with the vision of our national greatness, our nation will become the greatest of all. Of this hour, the kingdom of Maharlika, we enter with a clear eye and stout heart. A perilous decade, there is nothing to fear. We shall achieve. We shall prevail as a kingdom. We ask you then, let us bruise the brothers. Long live Maharlika. Fight, and I will give victory.
DJ